Hey everyone, my name is Bahroz. I'm a career coach and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into how to ace Amazon interview questions centered around one of the most underestimated but incredibly important leadership principle, which is earn trust. Now here's the thing about earn trust. It's not just about being liked. It's about being reliable, honest, and consistent, especially when the stakes are high. At Amazon, trust is the glue that holds high-performing teams together. If people don't trust your intent, your communication, or your ability to deliver, nothing else matters. So today, I'm going to walk you through how to approach these questions, the mindset you need to showcase, the specific stories that bring your answers to life. And now let's break it down. So first and foremost, how to answer earn trust questions. First, highlight vulnerability with accountability. If you made a mistake or had a blind spot, own it. Amazon appreciates people who can say, I was wrong and here is what I did to fix it. Second, emphasize your ability to give and receive feedback, especially when it's uncomfortable. Show that you prioritize truth over ego. Third, show how you work to build relationships, especially across teams or with difficult stakeholders. Trust isn't just about being nice, it's about being dependable, transparent, and fair. And finally, if your story involves resistance or tension, don't dodge it. Show how you handled it maturely, communicate it clearly, and ultimately strengthen the relationship altogether. Now let's get going into the actual questions. Now the questions that I will be sharing are the exact questions that you can expect in the Amazon interview under this principle of earn trust. I've seen these come up repeatedly, the same questions in coaching sessions with clients who landed the job at Amazon. And let's break them down with strategy and insights for each. Now let me also call it out here that in case you are interested in having a one-on-one coaching session for interview skills, you can book a session with me through the link in the description below. Also, if you're curious about the content I cover in these sessions, you can check out some of the recorded coaching sessions available right here on my channel within the Amazon hiring playlist. Now let's get rolling into the question. Question number 1 is, tell me about a time when you had to communicate a change in direction that you anticipated people would have concern with. Now this is about proactive trust building during change. So this is how you need to kind of answer the question. First, frame the story around empathy and listening, how you anticipated their fears or resistance. Second, talk about how you gathered feedback and incorporated suggestions. Third, emphasize how you kept communication alive, transparent, and frequent. Lastly, show how you got people comfortable, even if they didn't fully agree with you. Here, the key traits that you need to show are empathy, transparency, collaboration, and influence. Now let's get going into the second question. Second question is, give me an example of a tough or critical piece of feedback you received. What was it and what did you do about it? This is a direct trust test. Don't sugarcoat the feedback, own it. This is the feedback I received and I own it. But then talk about how did you go about reflecting on why it was hard to hear and what did you learn from it. That piece is very, very important. And then more importantly, what change did you make? So because you want to come across as someone who showed growth. So what changes did you make after what you learned from the feedback? And bonus, if you can mention how it improved team, trust, or performance altogether. Here, the key traits you need to show are humility, growth mindset, and accountability. Now an important call out here, which is, as you probably know, Amazon has 16 leadership principles. During the interview process, they'll be evaluating you based on these principles. In fact, I've made a separate video diving deep into Amazon leadership principles, so I highly recommend checking that one out first as part of your preparation. That being said, not all 16 leadership principles will come in every interview. You'll be evaluated mainly on the ones most relevant to the role you've applied for. Typically, you'll be asked about 6 to 8 of them. To help you figure out which principles are most important for your role, I've made a separate video explaining exactly that. I'll leave the link for that video in the description as well, so be sure to check it out. Now let's move on to the third question. Third sample question is, describe a time when you needed to influence a peer who had differing opinion about a shared goal. This is about earning trust through respectful conflict resolution. So here, first lay out the disagreement clearly without blaming. Second, explain how you sought to understand their view before pushing yours. Third, describe how you found common ground, win-win situation, or respectfully disagreed. And lastly, focus on the relationship, not just the result. Key trait here that you need to show is mutual respect, influence, and diplomacy. Now, let me make another call out here, which is, before you move forward through the video, I have a special ask of you, which is, in case you find any value from this video, please press the like button. This keeps me motivated and helps me improve the quality and quantity of content that I post on this channel. And secondly, and more importantly, please subscribe to the channel, because on this channel, I post content pertaining to how you can achieve success in your career. So if this topic is of interest to you, this channel is right for you. Now, let's move into the fourth question that I have, which is give me an example of a time when you were not able to meet a commitment. Now this one is a bit loaded. However, if you answer it right, it's gold. First, admit what happened. Don't deflect. Just this is what happened. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Second, explain the cause without blaming others. The reason why it happened, not blame people. Focus on how you communicated it clearly and what you did to mitigate the situation or risk. And with what you learned and how you've prevented it since then. Key trait to show here is responsibility, transparency, and how do you go about recovering from a particular situation. Now the fifth question I have is tell me about a time when your team's goals were out of alignment with other teams. This is classic cross-functional tension. So start by clearly stating the misalignment. Show how you engaged with the other team, not escalated. Third, talk about compromises or joint solutions. Fourth, show how it preserved or even improved long-term trust. Key trait to show here is collaboration, negotiation, trust building. Now, another important call out as part of Amazon hiring process, you may also be asked to take an Amazon assessment test. The best way to crush that test is to learn the hacks I've shared in separate videos, but more importantly, practical sample questions, sample tests will help a lot. I did some digging online and found this wonderful website with practice questions and tests that really mimic the real thing. I highly recommend checking them out as part of your preparation. Now, the sixth question I have with me is tell me about a time when you uncovered a significant problem in your team. Now, this one's about honest communication, upward and downward, and protecting the team's morale as well. So explain how you discovered the problem, data or observation. Second, be transparent about how you escalated or involved leadership or whatever help you needed. Then third, talk about what actions you took to solve it and reduce the impact. And lastly, show how your handling preserved trust with both leadership and your team. Now here it is important to note that all the questions that you need to answer, you need to follow the STAR format, which is the situation, task, action, and result. For this, I made a separate video where I cover the STAR format and how you should go about using it to ace any interview question. I highly recommend checking out that video. I will leave the link of that video in the description of this video, or you can check it out under the Amazon hiring playlist. Now, the seventh question I have with me is describe a time when you improved morale and productivity on your team. Now here, it doesn't mean that it has to be your team, people reporting to you. It could be team that you are working with, your business partners. Here, first, identify the root cause of low morale. Don't be vague. Second, share the specific actions you took, recognition, coaching, process change, etc. Third, tie to measurable improvements in productivity or retention. Fourth, mention how you made those changes sustainable. The eighth question I have with me is tell me about a time when a team member was struggling and you stepped in to help. This is a human story, so try to keep it real. Show empathy. Did you notice before they said anything? Second, explain why you felt compelled to help. Third, detail what actions you took, mentorship, coaching, shielding from pressure. Fourth, be honest about how it impacted your workload and why it was worth it. And lastly, share the outcome and what did it teach you about trust, about building trust with the team and all together. The last question I have with me is tell me about a time when a team member was not performing well and impacted your work. This is about setting boundaries with care. So here, first explain how their underperformance affected your work, but stay respectful. Talk about how you addressed it early, directly, and fairly. Then emphasize the intention behind your actions to support, not punish. And lastly, show the impact and what you learned about leading through discomfort. Here, the key traits that you need to come across as well or show is fairness, courage, and clear communication. Now, these were the sample questions with me that you can expect to be asked in an Amazon interview related to earned trust. Here, always make sure that you come across as someone who's transparent, who is self-aware, who doesn't go about blaming the team members or anyone else, takes responsibility, takes ownership, and then follow through whatever action they take, and then come out with a learning as well. So this is how you need to present yourself. Practice your stories, make them tight, focus on outcomes and human connections. You don't earn trust with perfect performance. You earn it by showing up consistently, especially when things go sideways. Best of luck for this interview. And as I said, in case you need further help, I have a full playlist of Amazon hiring videos, which you can check it out. Thank you.